Hi guys, welcome back to another portfolio update video. Kind of a turbulent week for the markets. In my personal portfolio, I was able to finish a little bit above 2.5%, thanks completely to my Google position, which is now sitting at a little bit over half my portfolio. So yeah, I'm continuing to hold Google. I'll get into that in a little bit. I did put the rest of my cash into a money market fund. For anyone who might not be familiar with a money market fund, it's basically a mutual fund that pools money together, puts them into very safe securities and safe short-term securities. Think of like US Treasuries or highly rated corporate bonds or these things called repos, repurchase agreements, which is essentially overnight lending between two banking institutions backed by another very safe security. Anyway, money market funds, they're highly liquid. You have access to your cash quickly. You could withdraw the money same day or overnight, and you can still use it. The trade-off is that you just get a lower yield. But yeah, so that's what I did with my cash for now. It's a temporary sort of solution until I figure out what I want to do next. Anyway, yeah, just a little bit about the week. It was the big news, I guess, was the NVIDIA earnings. Everyone was watching, which was pretty interesting. And I'll get into some of the highlights if you missed out on any of it. Okay, so NVIDIA. I'll just get to some of the key highlights I wrote down in terms of their Q3 earnings. The revenue was up 62% year over year. That came in at 57 billion, and the main core of their business, which is the data center segment, blew away expectations. 51.2 billion, that's of the total 57 billion. 51.2 billion came from this data center segment. This was up 66% year over year. And when I say year over year, I mean compared to Q3 of their last fiscal year. The founder CEO, Jensen Huang, he's been on interviews and he's been going around and he's been talking about how business is up and is booming. And to quote him, demand is off the charts. And in terms of their business with cloud providers, their GPU chips are completely sold out. This is their Blackwell chips. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with these numbers. Business contracts that they have locked up for the next few years. You know, but the doubters still make a real case as to why this could be a bubble. A question I would ask is, how often do you use AI personally? Or maybe even better question is, how many different products are you using consistently that use AI? I don't know. I guess right now it's still a waiting game. It's still a wait and see, at least for me, but it's very tempting to not get into this. I'm tracking the P ratio of this. I think it ended at 44, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, it's a compelling case. They have business locked up for the next several years. NVIDIA is, you know, it's like the cornerstone of this whole AI revolution. Everything is sort of hinging on it until there's a real valid, I guess, competitor, maybe with AMD or Google comes up with something, or who knows, Meta. But as of right now, you know, NVIDIA's got a hold on this like nobody else. Governments are making deals around Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang is in every major important room globally, and there's a reason for that. You know, so I don't know. It's wait and see right now. This company is the company of our time, and I'm watching it just like you. Last week, I also checked out Google's earnings call. I'll give you guys what stood out to me and even what drew some concern. First of all, their cloud revenue, they reported 15.2 billion. This was a 34% increase. User growth, also 34% year over year. And their operating income, which was incredible, up 85% in Q3. Search and ad revenue was 15%. So their story gets better and better the more you look into it. And what really stood out to me was Sundar Pichai mentioned that Google uses their own sort of AI chips, not just NVIDIA. They use NVIDIA for their cloud products. However, Google uses specifically their own TPUs, they're called, as opposed to GPUs with NVIDIA. It's specifically designed for their search products as well as YouTube algorithm recommending. So that makes them less reliant on NVIDIA as opposed to their competitors, which are solely reliant on NVIDIA. Google designs them and designs the sort of infrastructure around them, meaning their software and their algorithms. They all are powered by these TPUs. So they are self-reliant, independent. That's a real moat as far as I'm concerned. It's cheaper for them to run electricity-wise. So, I mean, it's no wonder why they're up so much this week, and they continue to build momentum from all these analysts. What did give me some pause was their CFO announced that their CapEx spending for 2026 was going to be significantly higher, is what she said, than what they had spent this year, which came in, they're reporting guidance of like 95 billion for 2025. So I don't know how much it's going to be. They said they're going to announce it at the next earnings call, Q4 earnings call. But based on this momentum, this progress that they're experiencing, it seems to be justified. The way they made it seem, it was like they're spending as demand rises. They're not sort of just spending frivolously, in terms of their cloud products. They have a backlog. So what that means is they have contracts signed with different customers that are waiting to be served by Google. Picture like a beer garden. If you've ever been to a beer garden, you buy a ticket, you pay a ticket in order to go and spend it in the beer garden. You haven't been served yet. Kind of like the analogy that came to mind when I thought of this. But their Q3 backlog of customers, contracts signed, haven't been served yet, was $155 billion. This is a $49 billion increase from the previous quarter. That's a 46% jump. So they have revenue stability for the next several years, and seemingly like this CapEx, whatever they're going to spend, it seems to justify it so far this year. And I guess in Sundar we trust, or at least I trust right now. Yeah, those are my thoughts on Google.